Have you ever seen pornography? Today, let you feel the oppressive feeling of locust transit. These locust armies can travel nearly 100 kilometers a day. Where they pass through, any plants and crops will be not corpses. Every year the world's tenth of the world's people are harmed. So how did this seemingly harmless little grasshopper evolve into a locust plague? The initial locusts look very weak. At this time they can only carefully gnaw some leaves and roots and some plants to fill their stomachs, and now they are very afraid of the attack of predators. It can be said that any carnivore can easily kill and swallow it. So at this time, the green grasshoppers can only hide here under the cover of grass, but their appetite is very good, and they eat every day until there is rain in arid regions around the world, and a large amount of rain and floods make all kinds of plants begin to flourish. But at this time grasshoppers are still not afraid of danger. They are still eating, but it is a variety of dense plants that make their numbers gradually increase. At this time they will inevitably have crowded collisions, and it is because of this small collision that their temperament begins to change, and there are a lot of sensitive and fine hairs on the legs of grasshoppers. Once these sensitive villi are touched, their bodies release pulses of serotonin, a unique pheromone that can make them change from toadstools to bacteria, and grasshoppers that evolve into bacteria will quickly peel. They will change from emerald green to black and yellow. These bright colors can allow predators to see them clearly and know that they are not tasty at this time, and with the transformation of the body brings a greater appetite. And a large amount of food made them start to mate and reproduce. A large number of small locusts were born soon, but so many locusts with a huge amount of food, these plants obviously could not fill their stomachs, and the hungry locust swarm began to become irritable at this time. They condensed into a large number of groups, began to jump into the distance collectively, and when their bodies reached maturity, they would grow wings and fly into the air. These locust swarms would be transferred by the force of the wind. Billions of locust swarms will eat up all kinds of crops on the farms and the place they pass through within a few hours, and large-scale food disasters begin to break out frequently, and the locust swarms at this time are destined by the wind to form a trend of spreading all over the sky and crowding the swarms, so that they are still colliding constantly. As a result, more locusts from afar join it, and at this time, the locusts have successfully evolved into locust plagues, which is a very terrible natural wonder, and the locusts in the juvenile period will keep jumping and following the group, and they will follow the taste of the grass in the budding stage for metamorphosis development. Dense juvenile locusts keep eating all these edible plants, and soon these locusts will change again. Their bodies begin to turn red, and many animals will not eat them, because at this time their taste has been completely unpalatable. Accompanied by a larger food, this life of locust swarms have formed a dense castle up to 65 kilometers long. At this time, they are still moving to the distance to make consciousness, and at this time, human beings begin to become panicked. Both adults and children are trying their best to kill these locusts, but this is undoubtedly a drop in the bucket. It wasn't until scientists began to study their habits and other living structures that they put an adult locust in the wind to observe its flight ability, and soon after understanding how far they could fly, a large number of insecticides were developed, and the end of these locusts was coming, and a large number of insecticides were placed on airplanes for large-scale spraying, and soon these locusts were wiped out. But countless locust seeds had already been planted in the areas they passed. They will also break out here at the right time and place and choose the right way.